Hello everybody, once again, as promised, I am back to walk you through the complete process of printing charts, whether you download them from me. These are charts for paper profiling. I'll show you exactly how to set everything up. Qimage is the best tool for this, believe me, because it performs some of the functions that you would normally have to do manually automatically for you, and basically makes the whole process pretty much dummy proof. And I need that, believe me. So let's jump right over to Qimage and we'll begin. All right, here we are in Qimage, and I have chosen in this case the Canon Pro-1000 as our printer of choice for this process. And let's just say that the paper I am trying to profile has a semi-gloss surface. So we're going to choose semi-gloss. Remember, when you buy a paper from some other manufacturer other than Canon, or in the case of EPSON, they're going to suggest to you what paper choice to use. That has nothing to do with an ICC profile, folks, because you're using a non-EPSON or non-Canon paper. They're simply linking you to the closest type of paper surface, ink necessities, in other words, ink density requirements and such, nothing to do with color reproduction. That is why we are creating a custom profile. We are telling the printer, hey, I'm going to load a glossy paper. You do not know from whom or from where it came from, but it is glossy, or a matte paper. And again, you have no clue where this paper comes from, but at least I'm telling you it is matte. And in the case of a printer such as EPSON, it will then perform that switch. Or if you have a P900 or a P700, that's no longer necessary, as they no longer share the black channel. But regardless, you have to tell it what type of paper you're going to be creating this profile in. So let's begin. Our unknown paper is a semi-gloss, and we're going to choose letter size because these images are always saved as a letter size image. So we're going to simply go ahead and load the first one. Make sure you have chosen original size. Let's go ahead and do that, because you see what happens? It did crop it off. Let's try that again. Notice it cropped off a bit of the image. We want to choose original size. That way it includes the complete border or the so-called stroke around it. And we can go ahead and load all three of them at the same time. But in this case, we're just going to do one. I'm not going to actually print it. I'm simply going to walk you through the process. So the most important thing is letter size paper. If you're in the US, if you're in Europe, it'll be A4. And then in that case, you would fit it to paper because these images are usually set to letter size dimensions. Let's go back to printer and settings. Now here we have it telling the printer that it's going to control color through an ICC profile, which is ridiculous because we are creating an ICC profile. Okay, we're not going to be using an ICC profile. Now, applications such as Photoshop, Lightroom, and anything else out there do not have a function that allows you to open this image and print it without any internal color manipulation or management. We want to have zero management as we open the image and view it, and also zero management in the driver itself. So let's go ahead and change this to what it should be, off. We simply click on this tab right here and choose off. Okay, you're going to get this warning here. Turning printer ICC off will disable printer color management and will result in raw data. Blah, 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 blah. You can read that as you go along with your own Qimage. Basically, that is what you want. You want nothing. Nothing is going to interfere or change or add or do anything to these images that we are going to print. Click yes. And now we're going to check to see if our driver is set to none. We're going to click on here, color/intensity manual adjustment, and on a Mac that will not be available because Mac automatically handles the off and on portion of its color management tab. We'll click on that, matching. This has to be on off. There you go, or none. You see that? So that's basically the way you do it. Now, let's go ahead and switch over to an EPSON printer. so we can look at the difference between a Canon printer setting, in other words, color/intensity manual adjustment, then matching, and then off or none. Let's look at Epson. We're going to open up the P800. And of course, I had it set to some other odd size paper. We'll switch over to letter size. And there it is, automatically resized it for me. And we're going to check that driver. Oh, wait a minute. See that? This setup that I had previously was set to use an ICC profile. Let's set that over to off. We get the same warning again. Let's check our driver. Our driver should be set to no color management. There you go. Mode off, no color adjustment. We are good to go. We can actually print this and it will print correctly. So very quickly, you need to have your driver set to off. You need to have an application that works in raw mode. Okay, and this is the only one that I know that's capable of doing that. There may be others, and there are some free applications that are very simplistic. You just simply open up a chart and print it. But you still have to manually change these settings on the driver to none or off. That's basically it, folks. If you follow those steps, you'll be able to create correctly printed charts that will then scan and produce a profile that will be correct. Anything else, whether you have accidentally turned on color management in the driver, and even though you may have it off on your application, in this case Qimage will not allow you to do that. It's automatic. But anyway, imagine theoretically if you had one controlling color and another entity not controlling color, the profile chart will not print correctly. The same thing goes if your driver is off, but your application is actually accidentally printing through a profile. Of course, your results are also going to be terrible. Okay, so both applications, the driver and the printing application, have to be able to print everything in raw form. In other words, without sticking their little fingers into the mix, if you will. And that is it for now. Okay, I hope you understand that if you need to prepare a profile yourself, your software for your spectrophotometer will handle that for you. It will not add or change or affect the chart that it generates. That's normally what happens with these softwares. They do not change that. So all you have to worry about is turning off color management or color matching set to none in your driver. Then you print those charts. You still have to remember to do that though. It doesn't do it for you automatically. Let me show you a little trick that Qimage does. Let's go back to Qimage. Then I will leave you with a few more words. This time I will add myself so you can see me in the corner there. Let's go ahead and on purpose do something. I'm going to change this to, say, ICM. Look at that. It caught me. You see that? Printer driver color matching settings have been auto-applied. It caught me attempting, or maybe accidentally, trying to print with the driver controlling color, which would then load that paper profile, the ultra premium photo paper luster profile. You cannot do that. You cannot print a chart with any color management whatsoever. Let's take a look at the driver now. It's back to off automatically for you. You see what I mean? This application, Qimage, whether it's Ultimate or Qimage One for Mac or Windows, is available for both platforms, will not allow you to do that. Even a forgetful guy like me could not make that mistake, as it often happens. We all make those mistakes when we're printing images. Now, the next video, I'm going to walk you through the proper printing procedure, whether you are simply using a Canon paper or an Epson paper on a matching printer, and you just simply want to print with the driver only. You don't want any headaches. Again, Qimage comes to the rescue, folks. It's really, truly the best tool out there. But I'm going to walk you through Photoshop real quick, Lightroom real quick, and then Qimage. All right? We'll be right back in the next video. So please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And until the next time, happy printing and bye-bye everybody.